Hello, everybody. Welcome to NRIs. Well, this is after a long time, but I am so excited. I'm very excited today, as usual, that we will have an amazing guest who would be sharing her wisdom about Ayurveda and healing through Ayurveda, especially for those patients who have mobility issues. And I tell you, this was one of the most favorite subject for me because today, I'm doing this show from a remote area in Rajasthan. So you might get a little bit interruption in the internet because I'm solely depending on the internet from this hotel. But the subject was already marketed. We wanted to do this show for a long time. So I could not avoid it. And hence, I'm here in front of you. But let me give you a little background. When I moved to India about 2 years, I mean, it's almost 2 years, I mean, 1 year and then 1 year in the transition, I found, when I found my mother was sick and the disease was Parkinson's, which I have to manage for a long term. So it was very difficult to find a solution for that disease. I met so many doctors, so many neurologists in US as well as in India, and everybody had the same view that in Parkinson, especially when you have a long-term disability for those patients, you have to try different type of treatment options. You have to see what works, what doesn't work sometimes, and you may get surprised if somebody comes and gives you a solution. So I am hopeful today that I'm going to talk to Mona Chopra, who lives in Boston. I know Mona for last 2 years. She is an amazing personality, gives good solutions, believes in new innovations, new products, launching new services, living in the United States for last 25 years. Because the purpose of our show is to bring those people who have made India and Indian traditions proud in US, especially or abroad somewhere. So she is one of those rare personalities, rare person who was not trained on Ayurveda officially, but learned Ayurveda by practicing it on herself. We will hear more about her. I'm going to let her come and talk about her in few minutes. But I hope you're settled. Today is an amazing day here in India. I hope it is an amazing day because the time saving has started. So I was not sure. It's 9:30 or probably it's 10:30 or 10 o'clock at your time. So with this, let me invite Mona on the stage and we will hear from Mona. Mona, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you, Kunal. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are.
I
So,
tell you, we have amazing way of reaching out to people. We have audience from largely Tampa Bay, where I lived. We have people joining from Jaipur. We have people joining from different groups wherever this live session is going, because this session is broadcasted on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, on a different platforms, LinkedIn at the same time. So you never know where the people would be joining from. So that's a one thing. Second, we would also have a recording later on. So those who cannot even join today would have an opportunity to see different clips later on our channel on YouTube, which is called NRIs, NREYES. But this is fantastic to be with you. I would like you to please give a little bit background about yourself, your passion for Ayurveda, and what you're doing, how you're doing. So tell me all about it. Let's just talk about yourself and your journey to this.
thank you, Kunal. Yes, so as you mentioned earlier, I moved to the US about 25 years ago. I came here to study, went to grad school, and spent 2 years doing the MBA program, and then graduated. From there, I went to work for a startup, led the launch of a new product called the Segway Human Transporter. If anybody ever remembers that from 20 years ago, The
I
Segway.
do.
Yes. So I was responsible for the launch of that. And yeah, it was again a transportation device that replaced your second car. So again, the idea was it was not supposed to replace walking. It was the second car that people shouldn't have to buy two cars. You know, it's your short distances, you can walk or use the Segway if you have issues. Anyway,
Fantastic.
from Segway, yeah. So of course, Segway kind of is
It's your first love. It's like first love. You always remember it.
exactly. Oh yes, absolutely. It's historic now. I mean, it
Yeah,
didn't really take off much
yeah.
as was expected. It was launched under stealth mode, so everybody speculated, was it the magic carpet? What was it?
Yes.
Anyway, so here we are, 25 years later. Segway is used for just for touring cities. You can see it in different cities, towns across the world. So anyway, from
Was it like an electronic scooter, something like that?
yes,
Electric?
but it was a self-balancing scooter.
Self-balance.
So it moved with your body weight, lean forward, go forward, lean back, go back. I could go on and on about it, right?
So that
So
was kind of the seed for your passion for mobility. Is that
yeah,
your?
I mean, I would say it started there. So with Segway, then I worked there for a couple of years and then moved on because again, it was not the success story. It was meant to be. It was launched
It was
in
a good learning curve.
exactly. It was launched with the venture capitalists invested heavily. We had the Amazon guys. Invest
Invested
and
into it.
launch. So anyway, so moving on from there, I went to work for a couple of other financial companies, consulting firms, startups, landed up in the financial services area, where also I launched new product for one of the large banks, and then worked at another custody bank as such in the Boston area. Now, my journey to Ayurveda started, a couple of years ago when you are studying, you don't pay attention to your health, to your eating habits, to an exercise regime, to your everything. So it's a culmination of over time, over a few years, that you land up with issues. You don't see the issues up front, but it takes a few years till you realize, hey, you've got back problems, you've got a leg problem, you've got a walking problem, a balance issue. So a family member suggested Ayurveda, and I went for Ayurveda treatment, which is the full thing, right? In terms of besides medication, they put you through therapies such as massages, as well as you a diet control, following a diligent diet, right? And so that kind of led me to the Ayurveda way. So ever since then, I've followed the main broad principles of eating right, exercising, or in terms of, we don't call it exercise, movement such as stretching, and we'll get into that a little more later. So doing that consistently, making it a lifestyle choice, right? It's like you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you don't have to announce to the world, hey, I brushed my teeth. Similarly, you just follow the Ayurveda principles, broad principles.
Now people do announce that they brush their teeth on Instagram.
I know that's true.
Yes. And
So
twice in the morning and in the evening.
that's true. But what my goal here is, so I can leave you with a few pearls of wisdom, let's say, follow broad principles, adapt to
Yeah.
your needs, you know, yes, always consult your doctor or your Ayurveda practitioner before you take any new medications. But 20 years back now, fast forward, Ayurveda and modern medicine have come a long way, right? If you diagnose the disease, with the modern medicine, Ayurveda can help you manage the symptoms. We're not talking about curing diseases because there is no cure for some things and there may be a cure for others. But hey, if you have a heart attack, or I would not say go to the
You're going.
Ayurvedic doctor
Yeah.
first. Go to the emergency, do whatever it needs to. It's the recovery that becomes easier and faster with Ayurveda if you follow those principles.
It's a
Again,
long-term solution. Yeah.
exactly. It's we get into that long term versus short term quick fix. It's not a quick fix. So I'm basing it off my experience, what I've learned over the years, and I've practiced this, follow these habits over the years, and it works. But you have to have patience. It's not a miracle that happens in a day, it takes years. So that's why we call it a life change, a lifetime kind of devotion or change, however you want to look at it, right?
So
So,
it's happening, so surprisingly, my mother have a Parkinson. And I've been trying to manage that for last 1.5 years when it was diagnosed. And it declined her body so fast that I could not help getting it recovered. And by the time I realized this is declining, so she was half disabled.
wow.
Now, since then, we started doing some outside therapies with the help of a therapist, changed some medications, and it kind of last 6 months, she was balancing it out. But I never tried Ayurveda. So, what advice do you have for those kind of patients? And I met so many patients who are like this when I go and show her to the hospital. I mean, there are thousands of people who are suffering the same problem, and she is young, like she is 69, and facing, and the doctors say it's a long-term disability. It's not going to be, because that changed my whole life. And there are a lot of NRIs whose parents are probably suffering the same issue with mobility and the long-term disability, that they can't move. I was lucky enough to move from US to India, and I was able to look after her, but not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
So uh, so tell me more about this. We are excited that, if those kind of patients are the most concerned at this moment, because then I can, probably, there are general questions. Most people love Ayurveda. They understand Ayurveda. They know that, it's a slow treatment or a slow process of healing. That's what they think, that it's a very slow process of healing. That's a common myth. Like, if you're doing Ayurveda, it's a very slow process, because that's what I asked my doctor, and he said, well, that's what it is. You have to take medications, because in medications, at least you can infuse what is lacking in her body and then give her dopamine to
Right.
kind of look better and
Yep.
and and feel better. But I don't think so. She looks better, but I don't think so she feels better.
Okay. No, you were right about this, Kanal. Ayurveda is a long journey, and you have to know that up front when you get into it. There's no quick fix. So the idea is Ayurveda will help you manage your symptoms so that you can live a better life with less pain. For that, you have to do your part with controlling your diet, or actually, we call it the Ayurveda way, but it's no different than what Indians eat at home today, except India, eat all the other extra things they should be eating. So you have to be so diligent. There are some do not eat, which we see, remember, all these neuro disorders are nothing but inflammation of the body. So you have to control
Inflammation of the body.
inflammation. You have to follow a diet that reduces the inflammation and not aggravate the inflammation, right?
What causes this inflammation?
So, I mean, there are many reasons. So, basic Ayurveda things is, there's the doshas, the three doshas in Ayurveda. This is due to the Vata imbalance. So, we have Vata, Kapha, Pitta. So, a combination of the five elements: earth, fire, water, air, ether. So, Vata is basically fire and ether, and it's imbalance in your body where I'm going to go scientific, but I'm
No,
not.
no, absolutely. We would love to hear these are the basics. People don't understand. They don't hear
I'm
it
done.
because, yeah, I tell you, very few people give time to their patients, and especially in India. So our show is more like a conversation where if at least we can talk about the fundamentals which people, and if we can, they can walk away with 5 tips, 6 tips, that we would probably solve some of the problems. So go
Right.
ahead. Yeah, talk about it.
No, so we'll get to the 5, 6 tips which I have
Yeah.
think can help.
Yeah.
You start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Start it small. So basically, this inflammation is the imbalance in your body is when your cells start attacking the good cells and the bad cells. So typically,
Self,
if you
your body
feel
self start attacking.
right. It's so Ayurveda doesn't treat just the symptoms. It doesn't. It goes to the root cause of the illness. Why do you have that
Exactly.
illness? And it treats your root causes and lets the body self heal itself. I mean, you can take a tablet, Tylenol, painkiller, anything, and it'll give you a quick fix. It doesn't go to your root cause, right? It doesn't solve the issue that you're having. You have leg pain. You
By
have
the way, I'm still jet lagged because I traveled to US last week, so I'm still like in that. So I
and
still have that jet lag, a
yeah,
few of those.
right,
I'm sorry.
exactly. But you know what? I've reached a point where the Ayurveda works for me. I've tried it, and I stay consistent. I do go off track. I do cheat every now and then, but then I just course correct. It's okay. You can cheat once and go back on track. Don't keep cheating by yourself in terms of eating.
But the question is, do you practice what? Say, did you have any symptom? How do you know that what when people try to heal themselves? That's what they call it, like Ayurveda way. That they can find somebody who can show them a path, as you said, lifestyle changes,
Hmm.
and they can continue doing that lifestyle changes if they want to feel better, look better. But if somebody has a specific issue like inflammation, you said, how do they diagnose? Is it a different way in Ayurveda to diagnose you have a inflammation, or the diagnostics would be through the same way, like.
So, yeah, you're right. So, diagnostics would be through the same way,
Right.
right? In fact, Ayurveda works better, in my opinion, again, if you go with a diagnose. So, let's say the doctor said, hey, you have Parkinson's. So, you go with a diagnose so that the Ayurveda doctor knows exactly where to start. Then they'll ask you a series of questions. They'll feel your pulse, they'll monitor what you feel, and then they will start the treatment, right? So the various herbal medicines, medications they can recommend, so that is another process. So we would want, what I wanted to talk about was for the general audience, like just eat right, follow these principles, the Ayurvedic way, as I call it, which is no different than what you do on a day-to-day basis with a variation. There's some do's and don'ts. There's some things absolutely you should avoid. I mean, this inflammatory diet has been written about by many people. I actually like Dr. Andrew Weil's inflammatory diet pyramid.
Yes.
I
I
found it.
was about to come back on that. Yes.
Ayurveda recommends the same thing. So let's start. Okay,
Yes.
we're not
So tell me
talking.
about it. Yes. That
Yeah,
Andrew Wiles philosophy.
exactly. So we're not talking about going keto, paleo, one of those fancy diets. Basic, simple diet in terms of what you can eat is eat your regular food in terms of vegetables, right?
Wheat. Wheat. What about wheat?
So
Rice.
if you have gluten allergies, you would have discovered that elsewhere.
So
Ayurveda.
somebody needs to go through a gluten test in
Well,
order to.
I think they should, yes.
Okay.
Again, you should speak to definitely a doctor. But let's assume you know what the issues are. You have gluten allergy, you have diabetes, you have whatever the issues are. You've got to live within that also. So how do we manage our diet? healthy lifestyle. So Ayurveda recommends, yes, you can have vegetables, but cooked vegetables. They like the kind of vegetables most people may not enjoy. Gourd, bitter vegetables, your dal, your lentils, legumes. Even in terms of carbohydrates, you could have rice, brown rice, millets, quinoa is highly preferred. So less refined food is better. So refined rice, if you can avoid, like white rice, yes. In some, again, the key is in limited quantities, portion control. So these factors are important to know, right? You want warm, fresh, cooked food, right? Yes, for
What
those
about
in the US.
salads? What
Hmm?
about salads?
So salads, Ayurveda recommends less raw food, the better. I
Oh,
saute
wow.
my salad and eat. So
Acha.
I have the whole bunch
So
of
you
bowl.
boil.
No,
You do a
saute.
boil salad.
Just saute. Oh
Or
my
you
goodness.
saute your salad. Okay. So
Yes.
saute the
I
salad.
mean, in
Okay.
the US, microwave is a shortcut. Look, I'm
Yeah.
not a big person who's doing stuff like, anything that's too much work is not sustainable. So the idea is what is sustainable and achievable in your life based on wherever you are, right? So if you're in the US, yes, having warm cooked meals is ideal. How hard is it to make a bowl of khichdi? Ayurveda says put a little bit of ghee with a little bit of seasoning, mustard seeds, cumin seeds, curry leaves. I love curry leaves. You can put any kind of seasoning, right? It'll go. Uh, it does not say you have to be vegan, right? You can eat this ghee, A2 cow ghee, as Ayurveda calls it. That's
Well,
another.
we have a lot of controversy on ghee. I need to talk about this.
A little bit of ghee. We're not telling you to eat the bowl of ghee, right?
Okay, a little bit, very little, just taste. Okay.
Yes,
What
just
is
take.
better, oil or ghee?
Ghee is good, again,
Okay.
in limited quantities. Put
Very
a
limited.
tadka of ghee on your dal or on your khichdi. You can even have turmeric milk with a little bit of ghee, just a touch
Okay.
with mustard seeds, curry leaves, and a little bit of ginger. So these are very healthy things,
Therapeutic
healing
medicines.
also, which help
Yes.
to heal. Ginger. You can have a little bit of honey with your,
What about those people who drink ginger every day in the tea? Isn't it ginger creates a lot of fire in your body?
it does, but again, you know what? I have it once a day. I don't drink it like 5 times a day. So
Got
then,
that.
if you're drinking black tea, then try and. I hate green tea. I shouldn't be saying that, but I do force myself to drink green tea at least once a day. Green tea
So
has,
once a day green tea, then black tea.
yeah, oolong tea, white tea is okay with Ayurveda. So these
What
again,
about dairy? What about dairy? So you said
so dairy
white
with
milk, and
so
then
dairy, the less is better.
a lot
So
of people these days are just this because they are listening. What are these? So tell us a little bit. Let's talk about this dairy thing. A lot of people have the question about this dairy thing. I have like two comments. People
mhm.
are asking, they are confused. In the old days, their
Yeah,
ancestors always talk about drink milk every day twice,
full cream milk,
whole cream milk.
not
What
anymore.
happened to all of this philosophy and concept? Was Ayurveda not there at that time? It was, right? What
Yeah,
changed?
well, it was ignorance. People know what they know, right? So
Okay.
yes, even I grew up listening to my mother and family say, have milk. But today, Ayurveda says if you can avoid milk, it's fine. Actually, I take almond milk, which is okay. You can have oat milk, and
But
nowadays
these almond milk, oat milk, it has a lot of sugar. They are processed milks,
so
which comes in the market. Okay.
unsweetened, and
Unsweetened.
at this point, are we drinking milk? Depends on the age factor, right? We're not kids anymore. You don't have to
So for
drink milk.
kids, it's good. The
Yeah,
kids can have a
yeah.
dairy. Kids can have dairy and ghee as
Mhm.
much as they want, and because they are growing up. But for adults, like above 50, you said you suggest avoid dairy.
Avoid dairy. Again, Ayurveda says have buttermilk. Avoid yogurt or diluted yogurt, which is like buttermilk. So
So what's
buttermilk
the difference between a buttermilk and yogurt?
So buttermilk has a lot of water content. You're taking less of the yogurt per se. So you're diluting the yogurt. You're kind of
So it's
what
the
do you call
more
it?
hydration. This is like a
Yes,
more,
exactly.
more
You
hydration.
can season it with the warm turmeric, like little bit of ghee, turmeric, mustard seeds, curry leaves, and drink that. Right? That's a full kind of having a snack, a meal. I do that as a snack. I have a buttermilk, glass of buttermilk instead, right? If you do have yogurt, now the thing is that diluted yogurt, right? Your not the regular yogurt, but they're recommending you have what is it that the
Gluten-free yogurt nowadays. Gluten-free.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
every kind of yogurt, yes. But the most popular one is the other one. I'm blanking out on the name. The not the cow's milk and not those kinds of yogurt. See, yogurt also has preservatives. Let's face it, some sort of the other. Unless you're going to make homemade yogurt, that's fabulous.
Somebody said you can make even a yogurt from cashews.
Yes, you can. And you do get that in the market also, but then the market
Yeah.
ones I'm sure have preservatives. Because
Yeah.
see, the idea is to eat fresh food. They call it a single food and a whole food. Anything that lasts for more than 4 or 5 days, it has preservatives.
It
A
has
fresh
preservatives.
food will be like a asparagus, right? It could be a tomato. Things like these don't stay longer than 4 or 5 days. So
Correct.
anything that stays more than that means
Or
preservative.
avoid tinned,
Yes.
tinned food.
So I don't take tinned food out of a Tetra pack, maybe sometimes. It's not like every day I'm doing it.
How about a comparison between a frozen food and a tinned food? Because
Frozen
these
food is
students
fine.
who live, huh?
Frozen food in terms of fresh vegetables that are frozen are good. They're healthy
Good.
enough. Yes. It's definitely avoid the tinned. Again, I say if you have to for some reason, let's say you were going camping and there was no other food but that tin, it's
Yes, yes.
okay. One
It's
time
okay.
you eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not eating it every day of your life. I know people who open a can of chanas, boiled chanas, and eat it every day. You don't
Yeah.
want to be doing that, right?
So I have a question here.
Yeah.
I read somewhere my mother had, when we diagnosed, she had this uric acid issue. She had,
Mhm.
I think, more uric acid than required in a body. So I checked what causes uric acid. And of course, my source is nowadays ChatGPT.
Of course.
So ChatGPT says that you should avoid eating lentils if a patient has more uric acid issue problem.
Hmm.
So then I reached out to my sister because she does the similar kind of like Ayurveda and kind of, she's a dietitian. So she said, there is a way in Ayurveda you can do is the way you cook um, um, lentils. You cook it, you keep it wet for some time, and then you remove the water,
Yeah.
and then you cook it with the new water. So you think these are the like the Ayurveda has like it's not just the Ayurveda, but how you cook makes all the difference. Because then it's a lot of wisdom. Somebody wants to, adopt that lifestyle, and compared to just the pill somebody takes.
Right. But again, see, you spoke to a dietitian who can advise you on exactly what to cook, right? How to cook.
Yeah.
These are broad guidelines. I know that I shouldn't be eating X, Y, and Z. So I will avoid that. And
So
the
just
other
avoid eating lentils if you have a uric acid
So if
issue.
I don't. I love lentils and I will eat lentils. I have khichdi. I have legumes, lentil soup. I throw
Good.
in veggies in that. So to make sure I eat vegetables, I mix the vegetables with the lentils,
With
mix it
lentils.
with
Okay.
the khichdi, right? And
So even with the khichdi, you have white rice.
Yes,
and you have most people make it with white rice, and they
yeah,
make it with
brown
with
rice.
lot of the green, yeah, peas. And I mean, it's very heavy. I don't know why people tell it that khichdi is light, but I don't consider it light.
So it depends on how much you're going to eat, right? So you've got to figure out what's the right quantity for you. And if you think you're going to eat only khichdi, then you complement it with the vegetables, right?
But then you
How.
feel hungry. So if you like, if you are like person like me, you work out, the
Mhm.
evening you come, and then if you don't eat properly, you stay hungry. You feel like hungry.
No, so see, that's why the principles are you need to figure out what your macronutrients are. You need protein. If you're vegetarian, we're saying, Ayurveda prefers you to be vegetarian, but again, there are two thoughts. If you're eating medication, then there may be restrictions by your doctor. But if you're not eating medicines and you just want to do the Ayurvedic lifestyle, it kind of leans on yes, you can have fish, white fish only. You avoid red meat. We've heard that forever. Red meat's not good
White
for.
fish, avoid red meat.
Yes. So other things you can avoid.
What
There,
are the other options in meat for people who wants to remain healthy?
you avoid beef. Anything that is
What
go
about chicken?
go for lean meat. Means lean chicken with no skin. Anything that has a skin, do not eat. Right?
Oh, what about okay? So people who what about boiled versus baked?
Well, the boiled may be preferred. Have soup. Soup is a good thing. Throw
Okay.
vegetables and the other ingredients into your soup. In fact, when you build an eating regime, there are a couple of points I want to make. A, build a routine. Stick to the routine. If you eat breakfast by 9 o'clock, eat breakfast by 9 o'clock. Again, there may be exceptions. It's okay. One day you can deviate, you're out, you're whatever with someone else. It's all right to deviate, course correct. So build a routine. Eat same time, fixed times, have a snack between the meals, hydrate, drink a lot of water. The more, the better. So think of ways you can increase your water consumption,
So
right?
build a routine, you said, and then what else you said?
Hydrate, have
Hydrate.
enough
Okay.
water. Water before meals, in between meals. So if you take a big glass of water, think about it. You have 3 meals roughly a day, 3 glasses before meals, 3 glasses in between meals. That's 6 glasses of water, right? So you've kind of reached your water quota that you need to have at least, or you carry a flask. That's also.
Some people say that no water during the meal.
No,
Some
no,
people
not during the meal, before the meal, and then an
okay.
hour after the meal.
An hour after the meal, not during the meal. Okay.
Plus, at least you have to give a gap, right? At least
Okay.
I
Okay.
do
Got
that.
it.
Let's put it that. Warm water,
So
kosa water is good. Don't drink cold ice water, glug glug. Yeah, that you should avoid because you're going to aggravate the vata, right?
okay,
If
got it.
you drink ice water, right? Other things that you should
So have
avoid.
ice water. You said ice water is good?
No, no, it'll aggravate the vata.
Ice water is not good.
Yeah. So we're talking
Because
about
most
warm.
people in US they have ice water.
Then if the vata is not aggravated, they're okay. But if you already have a vata that's aggravated, you don't want to aggravate it more. That's
And you
the.
said after 50, vata is very common that most people have that. So we
What's
can
that?
just safely assume, is vata common that most people have after they turn 50? Like, is it something very common that they have a vata, which you means like fire, aggressive? Is it like thyroid? What is the thyroid symptom? Is it a symptom of vata?
So I would not get into that honestly. So if you have thyroid, you know it, right?
Okay,
And so here we're talking about managing whatever you have, the symptoms,
right.
right? Through the diet, through exercise or movement. So if you have issues with walking, so obviously your exercise routine would look a little different. I would not
Right.
say go to the gym and start on the treadmill. I would not use
Yeah.
the treadmill if you have a balance issue, right?
Yeah.
Things
Yeah.
like stretching is
Yeah.
okay. Other
Yeah.
kinds of exercises is okay to do, squats, and those simple exercises. You have to keep your body flexible and keep stretching. Yoga,
Yeah.
there's therapeutic yoga, there's swimming, which is great for inflexibility, for body issues, movement issues, right? So those kinds of things that help, because you have this issue, whatever the issue is, movement,
Yeah.
pain, fatigue. Sometimes you can get brain fog, those kinds of things. So you have
They
to
all are, the reason is inflammation somewhere. You say
somewhere,
that.
right? You've got to
Yeah.
manage those symptoms so that you can lead a
And
better
this
life.
diet will help. This diet will help.
Exactly. So that's the idea. So with the hydrate also. So there's some simple rules, I'm gonna, it's not mine. I didn't make it up, but the 3-2-1 rule.
Three to
Eat,
one. What is that?
eat 3 hours before sleeping. So your dinner should be 3 hours before you sleep when you build your time schedule. Ideally, again, if you
Don't
miss some,
sleep right after eating.
exactly. The two
Okay.
rule is stop hydrating 2 hours before you sleep, right? And
Two rule is come again.
stop drinking water, hydrating yourself before you sleep 2 hours.
Two
Stop
hours before sleeping.
before. So you stop by then. You have the whole day to do everything, right? And one
But
hour,
don't do it in the night. So I'm a Jain, and Jain principle is always eat during the daytime. My grandfather used to do it, but I tell you, my grandfather developed a lot of. I think it was his when he turned like in all of my life. I saw him. His body was very stiff. I don't know what is it called in our like medical language. Maybe, but he managed through Ayurveda throughout and with the lifestyle changes. But he had hernia, he had all these problems, and he was managing through yoga and Ayurveda, and he used to walk 15 miles a day. But still, I mean, he had these problems.
right? But again, don't forget what causes vata imbalance. Aging is one of them, right? We don't have any control on that. We all will age, we all will suffer, some more, some less, right?
Right.
Everybody doesn't get a heart attack, but some people will,
Some
right?
people do. Yes.
It's all about what was your lifestyle over the years that led to it,
Right.
right? Did you
Right.
eat
Right.
right? Did you sleep enough? Sleeping is
Yeah.
also another big factor. That did you
What
sleep enough?
happens to these patients, those who can't sleep well and they take medications? What do you think about them?
I guess it's okay to take medications to sleep if you have to, but I am not the doctor. I'm not going to advise on that.
But what's the option in Ayurveda?
So, Ayurveda, if you work out, if you do the exercise, the yoga, the meditation,
Then you won't have that problem.
you should be able to have calmed your mind enough to get to sleep. We never did the one rule, right? 3-2-1. The
Three to
one
one.
is the very simple rule. Stop looking at blue light 1 hour before you sleep, right? Which is
Stop
your
looking at the
computer,
blue light.
your
Okay.
computer, your television. Stop
Screen.
that.
So read. Yeah,
That
read a book.
disrupts your sleep. That's what we call the 3-2-1 rule, right?
So no television, no blue
1 hour
light,
before
no
you sleep.
screen.
Yes, so one
1
hour
hour.
before you sleep. And I think that's common because I'm as guilty of flipping through my phone when I'm sleeping, trying to sleep. Obviously, I'm awake till 12 in the morning because I've been flipping the phone and then I can't fall asleep because my sleeping window has got over,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So just some things you have to be disciplined about. It's nothing new that we're
Simple
learning.
rules. No TV or mobile 1 hour before sleeping. Nice.
Exactly. Three to
Yeah,
one rule. And I want
three
to
to one.
leave, yeah, I want to give another rule to everybody, right?
Please, please.
Is
Rules working. Rule works if
what
people
everything
remember.
else you can read up, you can find out, right?
Yes, yes.
So there's some talk about intermittent fasting. So
Yes.
intermittent fasting is okay. It's okay for your body to eat 75% less for 2 days, right? It's not like you're fasting for the whole week. So if you choose any 2 days to eat 75% less, it's okay.
75% less or 75% of your regular diet?
Well, 75% less. What is
So
fasting?
it means only eat 25% of your diet, what you eat.
On those 2 days, which you're doing intermittent
Those two
fasting.
days.
Yes.
Okay. You eat
So,
75% less.
right. So when you
That's
build a
not smart.
routine for your meals, try to stop eating by 6 o'clock. And I will not eat till the next morning, till about 6, 7. I have my tea or whatever.
In the
So
evening or in the morning?
evening. 6 p.m. would be my dinner. Finish.
So 24 hours fast.
Well, it forces me to fast. Without consciously doing it, I'm unconsciously doing the fasting, right? But again, Ayurveda says avoid heavy protein, heavy meals at night. So, I mean, yes, you can go from 6 to 7 is okay, but don't eat at 9 o'clock. Don't eat a midnight snack. Try and avoid those things because A, I'm
Not
assuming,
even a salad or a fruit,
no, nothing.
like a banana or
No,
apple or like
no.
anything
Ideally,
with
no.
green
If you eat
leaves.
whatever you want before 6 o'clock.
Fantastic.
6 or 7 is okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is fine. So we talk about
I
eating.
was able to reduce about 21 kgs of weight from my mom. I had to practice all of these things, a lot of these things in last 6 months. And it was really commanding to see the change. But I tell you what happens, especially mobility. I mean, what I saw and what the doctor says, even if you reduce the weight, I'm talking about the allopathic doctor, her
Mhm.
doctor.
Right.
He said the only thing will happen is that she will feel good,
Yeah.
but she won't be able to get up by herself, even if she reduces the her weight, because the patients with this specific Parkinson's, they just can't get up by themselves.
Right. So
So
then you would do physical therapy also,
right, which
right?
helps. So yes,
Will help, right? So again, we haven't even touched the exercise part of it. We're not talking about going to the gym and having an exercise there, get on the treadmill. Physical therapy, yoga, meditation, all these really help, again, based on where you are in your life, right? So based on that, for your mother, let's say doing things that would help with stretching or having a therapist come and stretch you. Even in the
yes,
US, actually, it works. There are some
yes,
very good therapists, you just need to find them, right?
yes.
I have met some fantastic people, just half an hour with stretching, it's like, oh my God, I already feel different. But you gotta
We
be,
have been talking for past 43 minutes.
oh
We
my
can
God,
have just one more whole session just focusing on gymming and exercising.
all
This
right,
is so good.
all right,
I'm
all I
already getting
can
a lot of people good
say is
reviews.
another acronym that I love to use is remember this.
Huh.
These 4 words: food, mood, move, and snooze. This is important. Food, what you eat is important, which drives your mood, right? Your mood, and then you need to move, and then you need to sleep, snooze. So these are my favorite words: food, mood, move,
Food,
and
move,
snooze.
and snooze.
Move and
Fantastic.
snooze. Yep.
Move, yes. So
And
food, mood, move, and snooze.
yes.
Yeah.
So these are just things to remember. I
Yes.
mean, make it
Yes.
fun, right?
Yeah.
So I would recommend people keep a diary of not what they eat, even what they're planning to eat. Okay, I'm kind of kicked out.
No, 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 no. You're fine. We can
Okay,
see it.
all
It's
right.
just you who's talking. So we try to.
Okay. Yeah, so just keep a diary for people. Like when you start small, start somewhere, and just build it up day by
So
day.
what happens? People leave. People leave. People say that they start something with a bang, and then over a period of time, when they start seeing the results very slow, they leave their motivation, and the habit of cheating once a week becomes twice a week, thrice a week, and then they come back to the same routine.
No, so you have
How do
to.
they control that?
make up your mind that you're going to do it. You're allowing yourself, cheating once a while. But if you start making it a habit, you're back to square one. Then you have to start all over again. It works. I've done it. You just have to be disciplined, right? So,
My favorite question on food, because before
yeah,
we it's already 45 minutes.
yeah,
What about the
yeah.
alcohol intakes?
So,
Party, social, alcohol intakes.
so alcohol is not recommended,
Yeah,
but modern convention does allow you 2 glasses of red wine. So it's a balance,
which is
right?
okay. Like 2 glasses of red wine every day.
So I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you what I've read. I don't drink
Okay.
alcohol now, and if I do, it'll be an exception, like my
Right.
birthday,
Yeah.
right? So that my point is, you make those decisions and choices. Moderation is key. If you have 1 glass, I'm sure it'll be all right. But if you're going to drink the whole bottle, then there's a problem,
Yeah.
right? So the other things to keep in mind is avoid fast foods, absolutely hydrogenated fats, cakes, pastries, anything with maida, with white flour
Sugar.
is a no. Refined sugar. Pizza, I don't touch pizza. I convince myself I do not like pizza. So if I see a
No
pizza,
matter whether it is gluten-free, flour, or
doesn't matter. Once I've made up my mind, I've
no
made up.
cheese, no cheese.
No cheese you can have, again, limited cheese, right?
Okay.
But the pizza cheese is not the cheese I want. Let's put it
No,
that way.
no pastas.
No pastas. I may make an exception if I go to a friend's house and she only gives me pasta to eat. Then maybe I'll have a bite. Otherwise,
But
no.
how about all of this food for kids, children, growing up children,
No, so
children who are
we're
in
not
college?
covering that. I'm not covering growing up children. We're
And let
only,
me tell you, let me tell you why.
yeah.
These days, these children,
Hmm.
they are obese, very heavy weight. As you said, they don't watch what they eat. Mostly survive on burgers from McDonald's, not only in US but also in India. And I find most children are overweight and obese.
There you got your answer. Do not eat fast food. Have it once a month, right? I
Yeah,
don't touch hamburgers except when I'm in India. Actually, I want to try them because they taste different from the
yeah,
US.
yeah,
But that's one time. I will in 6 months maybe I'll eat a hamburger made in India at an
yeah.
Indian McDonald's maybe. But
Right. And I like Indian McDonald's too. It's much
same
better.
time, I don't like the expensive one. So
Yeah, we never had an US McDonald's, but we like
exactly.
Indian McDonald's. Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
limit. You have to
yeah.
limit anything. And finally, let's just give the last talk about Ayurveda. There's
Yes.
something called integrative medicine.
Hmm.
Ayurveda believes that conventional medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, which is holistic health or healing, can go together. You just have to talk to your doctor. I find most of the US doctors do not understand Ayurveda. They think they do, but they don't. They think of it as an alternative medicine. Whatever it is, they have no clue. So, talk to your Ayurvedic doctor and see. Most of the times, they obviously allow you to keep the conventional medicine and then adjust the Ayurvedic medicine based on that. So that's why I recommend before you start eating any of the herbal supplements, talk to the doctor so that it's not interfering with your conventional medicines. And lastly, Ayurvedic treatment like massages, dhara paricha, all that, even if you have no problems, it's very good to do it every now and then. It just keeps the body nourishes your nervous system.
Like a maintenance of your body.
Exactly. So people actually come for rejuvenation. They call it rejuvenation, detoxification, right? Why does detoxification occur? Because your bad eating habits, you travel too much, you don't sleep enough. All these need to be detoxed, right? What is detox? It's just getting rid of all the impurities in your body, right? So for that, you adjust your eating habits, detox, go do the Ayurveda therapy once a while. And you can do it in the US too. I have found some good US people also,
Yeah.
just the price point is different. That's all.
Price different.
And
Yes.
so, if you can have the time and luxury, you can go to some fabulous places, not a resort, not a spa, but go to these Ayurvedic places where they will really treat you and, whatever you want to do, detox, go to the therapies at, basic, good, reasonable level. It's very simplified living. These places, they're not any fancy five-star hotels or spas, but they work on the real issues. So
This is fantastic. Lot of good information. Actually, we need to do one more, and we will do it this time.
we can keep going. We have
We
to
just keep
cover
talking about
my
this
list
good
of
stuff.
do not eat. Like I have a list of food that I will not eat now. No tamarind.
Okay, give
Um,
us quick. What one should avoid? Tamarind,
tamarind,
no. What
tamarind,
about
white
green
salt,
chilies?
tamarind, white salt, white sugar, pickles, fried food, junk food, deep fried food,
How
carbonate
about
drink.
samosa kachori?
No,
In India, nothing moves without samosa
that's
kachori.
the
Everyone
problem
want
with
to.
Indian food. I see gulab jamun and rasgullas. I can eat the whole bowl, right?
Yes,
Mishti doi. I love
but
mishti.
then that food will eat you.
Exactly. See, that's the thing. I grew up eating all that, no restraint, no concept of portion control,
Yeah.
rajma chawal, all those not so good things out of. So I'm paying for that now. Let's put it. It'll show up 5, 10, 20 years down the road as you kind of grow up.
Mm.
It will. So if children are eating that today, it's better you get them to eat the right things, the right habits. Exceptions always make that a treat, right? Rather than just saying, hey, go eat an hamburger because I don't feel like cooking today.
Yeah.
So in India, you have no excuse. You have help. It's us in the US who struggle to have warm, freshly cooked meals every day,
Yeah.
right? I do cheat. I do make khichdi for 2 days. I will heat
Yes.
it up on the second day. But again, Ayurveda says do not eat stale rice, overcooked food. Do not have food that's stored in your refrigerator for a week. 2 days, if you haven't eaten, out it goes. Just
See,
follow
some
that.
people, what they do is, and I want to talk about this before we end, they make food in the morning, and especially in US, they cook like rotis and everything else, and then in the evening, they just warm it up when they come from the
That's okay. It's
office.
a day. It's 1 day is okay. I'm letting you go for two
Even if
days.
they keep it outside, not in the fridge,
But if the weather is cold, it doesn't
it
matter. I
doesn't
mean,
matter.
it's freezing here, so it's fine.
What about rice? What about rice? Because I heard rice has a 2 hours window. If you keep it outside, it gets stale, no matter even if it is cold weather.
well, I don't have an opinion on that.
Yeah.
Let's put it.
But
Use your
you
best
try to
judgment.
avoid white rice. You already said that. So
Yes.
try to avoid
I
it
also
anyway.
avoid chapatis, by the way. I try to avoid
Oh
chapatis.
my God. Okay. So
So
the
I eat
difference
quinoa,
between
I eat millet, I eat brown
how
rice.
about gluten? How about gluten-free chapatis? Like
I
gluten-free
don't
wheat.
have a gluten allergy. I don't want to eat chapatis. I don't want to eat the naans and the medas. I love dosas. I will have dosa instead of a roti with the sabji.
Okay.
So we get dosa back. And fermented foods is highly recommended with Ayurveda. Dosa, idli, great. Go for it.
Fantastic. So between beer and wine.
Oh, we're asking the wrong person. I don't touch either.
But if you, what does Ayurveda say? beer,
No,
beer,
no, I'm
beer
just saying if you have to cheat, you cheat with wine, red wine.
is fine. Okay.
That's
Well,
for
on this, I wanted to end this on this note, but we will continue our conversation. It was great, Mona, to have you on the show, and I think we discussed a lot of good stuff. We'll probably have in next few weeks, we'll have another session where we only focus on gymming and working out and therapies and whatnot, or maybe yoga or something. But so nice of you, and we had a great time. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Kunal. It was lovely being here. I hope people took away some three, four main points
Abs-
is all you need,
Yes,
right?
food, mood, move,
And
and smooth.
yeah, and start small, start with your little notebook. It helps
Yes.
to write it down. You cheat,
Yes, I
this is
gave them in the writing. That's why.
yeah,
That's
course correct yourself. You cheat is all right, but then get back on track. That's all I can leave you with. So thank you,
fan-
Kunal.
fantastic. Thank you so much, Mona. So that was it. That was the whole purpose of our another show, where we can have some good laughs. We can just get everyday practical knowledge, wisdom from one of our guests. Until next time, thank you very much. Take care of yourself very well. This last thought: food, mood, move, and snooze. Fantastic. Thank you, guys.